Let's go back to those redacted Michael Cohen search warrant documents now, which we're told show the federal inquiry into President Trump's former personal attorney began in July of 2017. That is much earlier than had been previously reported, and it comes amid new signs that the Mueller investigation may be coming to an end. The last prosecutor to have worked on the Michael Flynn case reportedly is now leaving the special counsel's office. Joining me now, Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan, ranking member of the House Oversight Committee. Great to see you today. So give me the signs that you think that things are wrapping up.
Well, I mean, the reason Ms. Ahmad might have left could be the fact that the Mueller report is coming soon. We all kind of suspect that it is. But it also might be a letter that Mr. Meadows and I sent to Attorney General Barr just 19 days ago. On March 1st, we sent a letter pointing out that Andrew Wiseman, who's also leaving the special counsel, and Ms. Ahmad met with Bruce Orr prior to the 2016 election. And Mr. Orr conveyed to them that Christopher Steele, the author of the dossier, had talked to him, and he was conveying that information to both of these individuals who went on Bob Mueller's team, that Mr. Steele was desperate to stop Trump. So we pointed that out to Mr. Barr. Maybe that has something to do with them leaving as well. I don't know. We'll just have to we'll have to wait and see.
So I'm looking at that because my team has acquired a copy of that letter. And what specifically do you think the American people need to know right now about this investigation?
Well, remember when we conveyed in that letter, we told Mr. Barr, these two individuals on Mueller's team prior to the election knew that Christopher Steele had a bias against the president. Desperate to stop Trump was the terms Mr. Orr told us in the deposition. He conveyed that to these key people at the Justice Department, not only before the election, Harris, but before they went to the FISA court the first time to get the warrant to go spy on the Trump campaign. So clear back in October of 2016, they knew that information, and they didn't give that information to the court when they went to get the warrant. That is problematic. We think that's a potential conflict. Maybe that has something to do with both of these individuals leaving the Mueller team. Maybe it's as simple as the report's coming and they're looking for another job. I don't know. But understand, too, Mr. Wiseman's leaving the Justice Department altogether. That was announced last week. So maybe it has something to do with the fact that they knew this critical information and didn't convey it to the FISA court clear back before the 2016 election.
I wonder how much the American people are sensitive to the terms FISA court, because it really does come down to whether or not one side politically is able to game the situation with that secretive court, and how much we can ever look at that situation or the evidence there that the court has seen. That's important, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican.
Yeah, it sure is. And I tell you what I think most Americans are sensitive to. They're sensitive to the double standard. I mean, we talk about Michael Cohen. I mean, look, we learned from this information. Michael Cohen lied to banks. He lied to the IRS. They were surveilling him and getting information from him much earlier than we thought.
He's a criminal liar.
Right. And we know that he lied to Congress and then came in front of Congress and lied again. But what it underscores to me is think of the difference between how he was treated and Michael Flynn was treated and Roger Stone was treated compared to Secretary Clinton. She had 60-some thousand documents on her personal server, but she and her lawyers, Cheryl Mills, Heather Samerson, David Kendall, they got to decide on the front end which ones we on the Benghazi Committee and the government got to see and which ones were personal in nature. Completely different standards, completely different treatment. And as I've talked to constituents, particularly in the 4th District of Ohio, they are troubled by this double standard that exists and certainly, I think, is obvious in how these individuals were handled.
Again, it is a topic for both sides of the political aisle because it really has to do with what the public cannot see and what is fair. Representative Jim Jordan, ranking member, thank you very much for being on the program.